Welcome everyone to part 2 of our chapter 4 lecture. We'll pick up where we left off, which we were talking about the face. So the face plays, it's very important in nonverbal communication. So your expressions, what you do with your eyes. So there's a thing called facial primacy, which is a lot of the communicating weight goes to the face more than any other channel. So nonverbal, being believed more than the verbal, and the face being the top of all of that, the king or queen of the nonverbal communication, just lies. A lot of it lies in the face. So even without doing anything special, making any gestures or facial expressions or anything too intentional, you can still get a lot of information from just seeing someone's face. So for example, in this picture here, you can tell that the person is most likely female. Age, they're, I would guess between I don't know, 17 and 27. Okay, between 17 and maybe 27 would be my guess. Race, probably of some type of Asian descent. Emotional status, doesn't look too happy. So I'd say, maybe grumpy, pouting. This isn't, this is the best day, I just won $1 million look. And as far as health status, looks, healthy, got a good night's rest. You can tell just a few of those things just by looking at a person's face. So now facial expressions do matter, so they can express a lot of feelings, and some of these things are things that we were just born having a way of expressing them, such as happiness, disgust, sadness. So that looks pretty universal anywhere. So now there are some other techniques that you use with your face, such as intensifying, de-intensifying, neutralizing, and masking. So we'll get to that in just a moment, but first we'll go over some of these universal expressions. And for those of you who may have issues with recognizing these are a few characteristics of, say, what a happy face looks like, or disgust looks like, or maybe what anger looks like. So if you need to, you can take a few moments and take a look at that. Now, back to the intensifying, de-intensifying, neutralizing, and masking. So intensifying is when you use your facial expressions to exaggerate a particular feeling. So let's just say, I don't know, your little brother, little sister, or niece or nephew drew a picture, and you thought the picture was nice, but you over exaggerate how you feel, like, wow, that's so wonderful, you did such a great job, look at the colors, all of that. I'm still not giving 100%, but you do that, and your face shows that, so that they get it that, okay, yes, I did a good job, I feel good about myself, that positive feedback. So that would be the intensifying, just to go over the top in expression. Now, de-intensifying, this may be you hear some good news, but you're maybe in some type of professional setting, around a bunch of strangers, and you would be jumping up and down, but instead it's like, oh wow, thank you, that's wonderful, when your dreams just came true, but you're just like, oh wow, yes, I really appreciate that, that's wonderful, yes, I'm so happy. you know, but really you feel way more than that, but you're just not letting all of that show. And for neutralizing, sometimes that's when you're trying to be well, yeah, I guess neutral, even keel. So maybe if there's some type of situation where you got some bad news and you just don't want to let on that you just received some bad news, you're kind of just trying to be neutral. So that's not intensifying where you playing up something. It's not de-intensifying where you feel that, but you just trying to lower it. This is just okay, just trying to not give any type of reading whatsoever. So, and for masking, so this is when you have I'll say you're not representing your true feelings. You're kind of like using your expressions to put out something that's more socially acceptable. So if maybe someone, I'm trying to think, if you have, say, some true feeling about a particular thing, but you know that the way you feel is not socially acceptable, people think that you're crazy for it, then you're like, oh no, yeah, there could be, there could be some validity to that, and you're not really giving your true feelings. You're giving something to kind of just give a more socially acceptable response. So let's see, was there anything else I want to say about that? Yeah, downplaying an emotion to what's more acceptable. So examples: smiling and raising your brow in support when telling someone he or she looks great when you disagree with that, but you can't just tell them, hey, you look terrible. Well, instead you're like, oh, yep, you did that. Yep, you are wearing that. Yep, absolutely. Instead of just saying, what is that? So anyway, now eyes are also part of the face. So yeah, there's a thing called oculesics, which is the study of eye behavior, and things such as eye contact, eye movement, length of staring, duration, can all represent some form of nonverbal communication. So with eye contact, there's certain things that it shows, like uneasiness or submission. So an eye contact can show trustworthiness or being genuine, or some cultures it could be seen as a sign of aggression. And going on the cultural sense, in Western culture, like ours, eye contact is preferred. So I feel like maybe with that's kind of being less so, but ideally, or at least for the longest time, yeah, you look someone in their eyes. You tend to look someone in your eyes when you talk to them. So also eye movement, where your eyes shift to, may communicate something, such as if you've been in class or a meeting for a while and you're ready for it to be over, one of the things that you do is you look at your watch. So, or your cell phone, or maybe there's a clock nearby. So just showing that it may not be something that you just totally thought, okay, now I'm going to look at the clock, but it's just like, oh man, I'm ready to go. How much time is left? So, and you try to seek that information. So, moving on. So, with your your gaze or your stare. So, it can be showing that you desire something. So it may be like, I don't know, like say looking at, let's say, a car that's like, oh wow, that's a nice car, and you keep staring at the car. So now sometimes prolonged stares can show aggression, and an averted gaze or stare can you're trying to avoid contact, show that you're not interested in that person or what they're saying. Also trying to maintain your privacy. So sometimes, so example of this that you may have experienced, maybe you've been in a store and sometimes we see people that we don't really want to talk to. Maybe we're in a hurry. Maybe it's just someone who we don't have a good, a strong relationship with. So what do? Instead of, you hope to avoid making eye contact with that person. So you hope that, you don't want to get caught looking, them seeing you look at them, because if you make eye contact, then you have to initiate some type of conversation, some type of interaction. So you may try and avert your gaze. So therefore, it's like you're looking over here. So that way, if the person does see you, maybe if they're far away enough, they won't shout out a greeting, or so that way you can say, okay, well, they saw me, but I didn't see you. Oh man, if I had seen you, then yeah, I would have talked. Oh, man, hate that I didn't see you. But you kind of have that if you're averting gazes. So next we have pupil dilation. So yes, it can occur with changes to light. So if there's the typical way it happens is if there's bright light, then your pupils contract, they get smaller. And if you have if in dimmer situations where you need to see more light, your pupils dilate so that you can see more of whatever it is. So now that pupil dilation can also, in some instances, signal attraction, kind of wanting to see more of this desirable thing. And I had some videos linked to this, and I believe in the PowerPoint that's that you have access to on Blackboard, you can take a look at those videos, but I won't be playing those right now. So now moving on to attractiveness. Now yes, appearance does relate to attractiveness, but there are other levels of attractiveness. So now this can affect how others view you and how you view or think of yourself. So now yes, there's personality, there's clothes, there's body type, facial symmetry, a lot of that physical stuff. So, but there are other types such as social, physical, task, background, and attitude. So going into those a little bit more on this slide. Let's see. Okay. Well, I'll give you a brief. Social, maybe someone that you want to talk to, be friends with. Physical, body type, maybe hairstyle. Task, someone that you may want to work with. Background, maybe if you're from a similar place or participated in a similar activity growing up. And attitude, I think that kind of speaks for itself. Certain things that, okay, I like this thing, you like this thing also, let's be friends. That's the quick version. We'll go into more detail in just a minute. So, but first, some of these advantages of these types of many of these types of attractiveness. So, being attractive helps get good jobs, have higher self-esteem, promoted to managerial positions, can also help a person be seen as credible or have social power or influence. And also, the more attracted you are to someone, and just want to repeat, this isn't like a romantic attraction type of thing, okay? So the more you're attracted to a person, the more likely you're going to talk with them. So it's just, maybe it's you guys have, have something that, I don't know, a topic that you guys, enjoy talking about, or maybe you, yeah, just like talking to the person. So another thing is that the influence that that person has on you. So if you think highly of someone, maybe you think, okay, this person does a good job at this particular thing, and they say that this is how they got good at doing whatever the task is. Well, because this person is good at, these other things, and they say, okay, this is how I got good at this task. Well, then you'll give a lot more thought to, doing the same thing, just because someone that has proven themselves, capable, or a good partner to work with, or maybe they're just someone that you get along with, and you get along with them, and they're from, say, a similar place, similar background, and say, okay, this is how I got good at this particular thing. I didn't grow up with such and such, or this and that, but this particular thing helped me do whatever. So it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this person, they started out how I did, and now they got to this level. Well, I think I'll, if they tried this, then I think, I would like to try this. I'll think about trying it also. So back to the different types of attractiveness or attraction. So that's social, how willing you are to interact with that person. You may see them as someone you want to be friends with, someone that will get along with your friends and family, or someone that you want to be more like. So that's the social type of attraction. Now, physical attraction, yes, someone's physical appearance, first glance, whatever. So maybe someone's body type, maybe they're handsome, maybe they're pretty, their hair, their clothes, their jewelry, anything like that. So now task, for that task attraction, that's someone that, okay, yes, me and this person, we work well together, or this person does good work. Based on that is like, okay, well, if you have this particular situation, this is the person that you go to. This is the person that you seek. So maybe you have, let's just say, a barber or a beautician. You may think, okay, well, this is the person that, okay, I've got a situation, I've got job interview or some banquet or a wedding or whatever that's important to me. I'm going to seek this person because I know that this task, they listen to me, they do what I ask, they do good work. So that's who I want for this particular task. And background, it could be from same location, could be from same economic background, it could be same region, maybe went to the same high school, whatever. So any of those things where it has something in your past that they've also are knowledgeable of, have experienced. And attitude. So does this person share your beliefs, your values? Do they like the same things that you like? Do they like the same, maybe it's the same music or same TV show, sports team, or maybe they root against this, some team and you don't like this team either. So this would still be an attitude. So similar goals, beliefs, values, all of that. Now, for vocal cues. So yes, it's not. This isn't, the words that come out of your mouth, but how you say those words. So one example is the rate that you speak. So in the South, or Southerners are known for speaking more slowly than, say, someone who's from the North. Also, that's just one thing about rate and speed. Also, if someone is speaking faster, that may imply that, okay, they're in a hurry. They don't have time to, sit around and talk to you. It's like, hey, I got to get this done. This is important. Let's get this task done so I can move on to the next thing because there's a lot of stuff to do today. So it could be that type of situation. So also, but speaking slowly could also imply sadness or uncertainty. So how do you get to this place? Well, you go to, 2 blocks down, go make a left at this place. I think you'll see such and such, and instead of saying, all right, go 2 blocks down, make a left, turn here, stop at the stop sign, it'll be right there. So speaking slower may show that you are uncertain about what you're saying. Maybe you're just sad or feeling down, or maybe you're sick. You're trying to get it out and, say whatever it is you need to say, and you're just struggling because of whatever physical tiredness, maybe some pain, whatever. It's just like, hey, I'm zapped, I've got a fever, whatever. I can't just, have that pep that I would normally have. So now with pauses, pauses can show that you really have something important to say. So the first thing that you have to know is this: pauses can draw more attention to whatever it is that you're trying to say to your audience. So it's kind of like, okay, slow down, settle down. I'm not just throwing words out there willy-nilly for you to just, let them just breeze by your ears and not, actually, be thought of. So it kind of shows that, hey, focus on this particular thing. So your pitch. Now, pitch can show that someone's experiencing, if they're excited, feeling hyper, or feeling tension. It may show in, their voice going up, like, really? That type of thing. Also, if you have a habit of doing that too often, then yes, you can work on adjusting your pitch. Now, having a monotone pitch, that's when it doesn't go up and down. So basically, whether you're reading good news, bad news, whatever, it's still at the same level, almost that neutralizing effect of nonverbal. So it's sometimes it can also, this monotone delivery can seem boring. It doesn't seem like you really like you're bored or lack of caring about whatever it is that you're talking about. So yeah, monotone, it does show, can communicate some of those things. Now, with volume, sometimes you're just trying to be loud enough to be heard, and sometimes it can show maybe aggression or just excitement. So, where was I? Oh, yeah, of course you want to be loud enough to be heard. Think about the emotions that you want to convey, and if your volume, may add to that or take away from it. So if you're speaking too softly, maybe it's showing fear, uncertainty, timidity, maybe showing, if someone's saying something that maybe they shouldn't be saying, then, they may lower their voice so that, okay, other people don't hear them. So it's not something that you're going to lower your voice because you're feeling proud of whatever it is that you're going to say. So also, speaking too loud can make people kind of actively like try to stop listening to you, like, oh man, I got to tune this out. This is just too much. I got to get out of here, whatever. Also, some cues that you may not be speaking loud enough. So if people or really lean in, maybe turn their good ear towards you to try and hear whatever it is that you're trying to say, then yeah, speak up. Now, also, if people are leaning back, almost look like they have a pain look on their face, like, then yeah, it's too loud. So yeah, it's just kind of like trying to block the sound waves from hitting their ear. Then yeah, you might want to lower that. So yeah. Now, other cues that you can get are how you pronounce words. So it could be, say, instead of saying you've heard tomato, so it's the same word, just pronounced differently. Now there's also articulation. So this is being able to say your words clearly. So because of maybe how you grew up, who you grew up around, the way you hear people talk, some of these things change or vary from one person to the next. And a dialect, so how people say from particular areas say certain words. And for silence, hold on. Okay. So I forgot about this. So anyway, yeah, pronunciation. I guess I'll go into a little bit more detail about that. So yeah, there's a way to make that word sound. Now, when you do have poor pronunciation, then it can make you seem like you don't know what you're talking about. So this would be, I remember one time I was hearing about someone talk about, I forgot, it was maybe saving money or something like that, but they mispronounced the word economy. So they said economy instead of economy. And I was like, yeah, I don't believe you anymore. So yeah, that mispronunciation can hurt your credibility. Also, when you mispronounce something, it can just slow down the communication process. So if you're saying something and maybe you maybe you pronounce it so I'm going to say badly or so differently from someone else, then it slows down the conversation. I remember one time I had a uncle who, instead of saying poultry, all right, I think it was the word poultry, but he was at poultry, and I was like, "Are you saying poetry?" He's like, "No, you know, the chicken, the wings, thighs, the breast, you know, the poultry." I was like, "Oh, poultry." And I was like, yeah, poetry. I was like, oh, okay, so never mind. So anyway, yeah, and now, you know, sometimes when I think of that example, like, yeah, and I was like, okay, there's poetry, not poetry. So anyway, yeah, it just slows down. Okay, are you saying this? So you kind of have to check what they're saying because you're not quite sure if you're getting the right message. So, and then there's, well, that's more articulation, but it does slow down that communication process. And then articulation, yeah, being able to hear all the words clearly. So the things that can hurt your articulation, speaking too fast. So maybe you heard maybe some type of song or someone who's just talking too fast and it's really hard to understand them. So mumbling, that hurts it. Running words together, dropping letters from your speech. So some examples we have here are, instead of saying did you eat yet, or did you eat yet, it's did you eat yet. It's like, wow, you just turned all the did you and, you know, to you eat, you know, or change or say dropping the G's from your words. So instead of saying dropping, dropping. So now with dialect, so different people from different cultures and regions say words, maybe use different, slightly different words. That's how come sometimes people can both be speaking English, but they could be from different areas and they use maybe a different word than you know, they don't use the same words for the same things. So yeah, how a particular group of people pronounce and use language. And they also can use different words. So like maybe, you know, in Arkansas, people say, you know, hello. Maybe in Texas, a friend of mine's from Texas, she would say howdy. And the only person I know who says howdy is from Texas. So, or in the UK, to say something that, you know, is great or wonderful, they may say, oh, that's brilliant. But, you know, hear him say, oh, that's what's up. You know, oh, you got a promotion at your job? Oh, man, that's what's up. Instead of saying, oh, that's brilliant. So now with certain dialects, it can help maintain your cultural identity or establish your cultural identity. So if you may say something, I'm trying to think of, there's words, I think the word Joe, I think that's from like the Midwest. Yeah, there's certain people who only use, you know, that particular you know, words, or the words John, or there's some other, you know, words that is very particular to certain parts of the United States. So if you hear somebody say that, then, oh, you must be from such and such, because that's you know, that's a word that they use. So now now if you're using too many, and you know, or these words are so key to whatever it is that you're saying, then it can hurt the communication, because people may not know what you're saying. So now with silence can also communicate for you. So it can show, sometimes you're showing anger by just being silent, or shyness, or anxiety, or sadness, or maybe you just don't really have anything to say on that particular topic. Also, the respect. Sometimes when somebody's speaking and you don't just jump in, maybe you have something to say, but you at least let them speak before you jump in, then that shows a level of respect for that person. Also, sometimes silence can just be a way of showing agreement. So if you're saying, all right, let's go, how about such and such, and we do this, and this is our plan, and let's do it, and you don't say, you don't disagree, you see them, you all making eye contact, and it's like, oh, and you just don't, and you don't disagree at that moment, then that means, that can be an indication that you agree to whatever that may be. So now also silence can be a form of punishment or protest. I'm sure you've heard of the silent treatment, where it's like, okay, well, this person just isn't intentionally not talking to you because of some type of wrong thing, deed, whatever. Now, yes, smell, taste, yes, these also, like I said, there's so many ways to communicate non-verbally. So with smell, the olfactics, the study of smell is a nonverbal message. Yeah, it can be culturally influenced. So, so maybe it may be a way of, say, seasoning, or certain smells. Maybe incense. In certain cultures, maybe you burn a lot of incense. So it can be an indicator of those things. So so let's go with safety. So, for example, food. So you can, I'm not saying, food is trying to communicate with you, but if food doesn't smell right, then, you probably, don't want to eat it, but you get that because of, its smell, because of how it smells. Or a gas leak. So if there's, if you smell that, then that message that you get is, okay, we need to, get out, turn off the gas, definitely not, lighting the matches. Or smell can also be an indicator of alcohol consumption, or drinking alcohol. So it can show that, okay, this person has been, drinking. Maybe they don't need to drive. Also, it can give memories. It can trigger certain particular memories. So I remember, for example, when I was younger, this store is still around, but it's quite different. Record Rack. It's moved around in a lot of places in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. And they always burned incense in the store, and it seemed like they had the exact same incense that they used to burn for years and years and years. So even when I would buy something, or say I bought something and I was living somewhere else, I could smell, like, I don't know, a poster or something that maybe I bought from there, and it would smell like the store, or at least it would for a short amount of time. But yeah, if I smell that particular type of incense, that takes me back to that, yes, record store. They sold CDs and stuff, but anyway. Now there's taste. So of course, we talked about, food can smell bad. Yes, it can taste bad also, and that triggers a memory of don't eat this because you don't want to get sick. So taste can, you can help trigger memories of something that you really enjoy, or identify particular substances, like, say, spices. Now Now, sometimes food can seem messages of what's acceptable or what, something to eat or not eat. Also, it can reinforce stereotypes such as, okay, these people like this particular thing, or season food in this particular kind of way, or express status. So some people like, oh well, I like this type of burgers, and like, oh well, I only eat this type of, I don't know, grass-fed beef, Angus, whatever. So it's instead of saying, okay, well, oh, I really like crab, another person's like, well, I really like lobster. Then it shows that, okay, the status of, okay, I have, it's basically like saying I have not expensive taste, or I'm so used to this particular thing. So yeah, or maybe I like a certain particular seasoning that's really hard to get. So yeah, just the food that you like, or that you choose to share with other people can yeah, help kind of solidify your identity, or maybe show your status, or maybe show something that you are involved in. So in Arkansas, I've tried deer jerky before. I don't think that, or I've eaten plenty of deer jerky before. I don't think that's something that you can just get all over the United States, where you can have someone who makes their own deer jerky, or you can buy it in a grocery store. So I don't think that's something that's I think that's more of a southern thing than just all around the United States type of thing. Now, time. Chronemics, the study of how we use, structure, perceive, and react to and interpret time. So a lot of times this can be influenced by subcultures or co-cultures. So an example of that would be in my family, and my kind of extended family, kind of tend to run late, especially family events. So usually if something says that it starts at 1 o'clock, then it probably won't really get started till like 1:30. So yeah, and that's just my own co-culture. So, and just using, say, my grandparents, cousins, uncles, aunts, that group of people. Now it can also it can be a core system of your cultural, social and personal life. So yeah, it does affect those things. And a lot of cultures are monochronic versus polychronic. So what that means is that with monochronic people, they're doing one thing at a time, concentrating on sticking to the plan, do one thing, commit to that, and more follow the rules and respect property and stick to the schedule, and get this done, one thing at a time, stick to the path, don't deviate. Now, with polychronic people, and from polychronic cultures, they tend to do multiple things at once. Not so worried about the deadlines. It may stress involvement of people in human relationships. So it's like, okay, we could get this faster, but let's try and get everybody involved. Prioritize time based on human relationships. So yeah, you may see somebody that you value and take a little bit more time with that person, even though it may put things behind. Yeah, place their jobs below kindness to others, or they're also flexible with plans. So yeah, it's like, oh, we were going to be here, but we'll adjust that. So let's see, lend and borrow personal property, or build lifelong relationships and be family oriented. So yeah, there's a little bit of difference. In some cultures tend to be one way, or tend to be one way more than the other. So we'll talk a little bit about some cultural stuff in just a moment, but for right now, we're going to go over the environment. Now, the environment can be it can be the space around you. It could be your car. It could be your personal space. So it can include a lot of different things. So the physical surrounding from contact with your body to many feet away from you. So your environment can include your car, your cell phone, the decorations that you have in, say, your home, or maybe a cubicle. Now, some of the perceptions that you can get from the environment, or from your environment, maybe friendliness, warmth. Maybe it could have like a serious business look or a cold look to it. So some of the things that affect that are, the colors, the lighting, the sounds that you hear, or maybe music that's being played, the arrangement of things, the smell, or how you use space. So if you've been to, say, a guy's apartment versus a girl's apartment, say someone in their, let's say in their mid-20s. So the apartments universally tend to look differently. Usually the guys' stuff is kind of usually more bare, less decorated, less things on the wall, and female is more tends to be more put together. So I'm saying this from my own personal experience, from my friends and from other family members, and yeah, I've seen that quite a lot. So yeah, it can say it can say some things about a person. So some other environmental factors: personal space and territory. Now, your personal space. So depending on how close you let someone get to you, may show the level of relationship that you have with that person or with those people. So there's the intimate, the personal, social, and public, and we're going to go over the distances for those and what they mean. So your intimate space. So that's from basically touching you to about 1.5 feet away. So that's for your close friends, your family, and romantic partners, that category. Now for personal, this is casual friends, co-workers, relatives, I don't know, first, second cousins, that type of thing. So 18 inches to 4 feet. Social, maybe you're just co-workers, so within, say, a meeting or just gathered around, chatting. But yeah, that's just more, being friendly to acquaintances and people that you work with, or clients. Now, public, that's from about 12 feet and beyond. So this is more of in a formal situation. Maybe you're addressing a team, or maybe an audience. So you're going to be a little bit further away, and one of the reasons for that is so that everybody can see you. So, anyway. Now, for your territory. So territoriality is the behavior people display towards the space and objects that we permanently or temporarily claim as our own. So yes, it can be a space, it can be an object, and it doesn't have to be something that we always have. So things like your cell phone, your purse, maybe a particular machine that you use when you go work out, maybe a seat that you like to sit in at a certain place. So usually when someone violates these, we tend to give some type of signal that, okay, this is not appreciated, or like, excuse me, or whatever. Or maybe have a way of trying to preserve that space, like maybe putting something there to show that, okay, this is mine. So so yeah, different cultures have different expectations about space. So some cultures it's not a violation if you're, really close to somebody. In some cultures, it is. So the longer you have a relationship with someone and the closer you are with them, the more comfortable you are with that territory violation. So, and there are a couple of different levels of territory: the primary, secondary, and public. So primary is the thing that is explicitly yours. So maybe you have a desk at home, or where, or in the dorm or wherever. That's your desk. Your cell phone. So it's not like your cell phone is just can be used by 10 different people. No, usually it's you using your cell phone. Maybe you have maybe a special mug that you like to drink out of, or a special cup, or whatever. That's your particular one. Maybe it even has your name on it. So it's just showing that, okay, this is this is mainly for you. This is your thing. No one else uses this thing except you. So whatever that may be. Maybe it's an instrument that you play, and you don't let anybody else touch that instrument of yours because that's yours, and you have it customized a particular way, and this and that, and it's particularly for you. Or, well, think about this: toothbrush. So you're not really sharing your toothbrush with someone. Like my wife and I have been married for a lot of years now, and we do not share toothbrushes. So it's just we just don't. So, but and it'd be weird. But anyway, these are things that your Facebook account. I'll stop giving examples, but you don't like, just unless you're like some big figure, but your social media, unless you like have hired someone that say, okay, run this for me, then so things that you consider yours. So secondary, so these are things that are not explicitly yours, but they're associated with you. So that would be the maybe you have a particular seat in a classroom, or a particular seat in at work, or something that you use, and it doesn't have your name on it, but it's like, okay, that's where this person tends to sit. So it could be a desk in a classroom, or maybe a certain seat at a table. So it's like, okay, you don't have to sit there, but it's just like, you tend to sit at this particular spot. Or maybe there's a bench somewhere, maybe that. But no. Well, let me go back to the bench thing, because that goes into more of a public thing. But it's the things that it's not like you have to have it every single time, but people associate, okay, that's where this is the thing this person usually uses, or where they usually sit, or whatever. Now, for public, this is space that's available for a temporary possession, but open to anyone. So, like, park bench. There's no anyone can sit and walk up and sit on a particular park bench. So, or a seat on some type of public transportation. So, these are things that, it's considered public space. So it's not like, okay, there's this bench in this park, and most of the residents of that city know that Joe tends to sit on that. It's like, no. Those who know Joe knows he probably sits there, but that's not like saying, oh, that's Joe's bench. That's just public bench that Joe sits on from time to time. Now there are some variations in different cultures when it comes to nonverbal communication. Just going to go over a few of these. So for the bodies, for example, posture. Let's see, where is it? Say bowing is important in Japan, and usually the more I won't say inferior person, but the person who is not as respected, socially, economically, whatever, tends to bow deeper and longer. Touch, and some, I'm not going to go into detail for every one of these, but yeah, in the United States and UK citizens, let's see, tend to be more, touch, but in Japanese, rarely touch in social settings. Your face, not just your face, but your gaze. So how long you look at people. In some cultures, it can be considered, disrespectful. So, or maybe a sign of opposition. So, and I was gonna say, and Russians, according to this, Russians, Japanese, and Koreans display a high level of facial control. While it says here that Asians tend to smile more to conceal sadness, anger, embarrassment, or other awkward situations. So with vocal cues, so lower volume is usually more acceptable for Asians and Western Europeans, but U.S. Sometimes people see silence as a sign of it can be a sign of respect or contemplation. That's why you say, like a moment of silence. Let's see. Time. It says in Latin America, France, and the Arab part of the Middle East and Sub-Saharan Africa are highly polychronic. They may conduct meetings in open spaces, and appointments can be changed. In the United States, Canada, and Northern Europe are highly monochronic. Tends to want to stay, on time and, keep that structure. So, the environment. So some cultures tend to allow more for space violations or closer spaces among people. So people from crowded places like New York and Hong Kong are used to having those, being cramped and, those personal space violations. Yeah. So, gender. Now, with gender, it's not saying that, okay, females use their hands this way and guys use their hands this way, and, guys do this with their eyes and females do that with their eyes. It's not that at all. So, basically, it's the culture in which you grew up in. So, where the guy or girls, the nonverbal messages and communication are going to be similar if they're from the same culture, because they're, people grow up seeing the same thing. So, like say if you have, I have a sister, and we kind of understand the same nonverbal cues because we grew up in the same culture. Now, the differences with in gender have to do with more modeling behavior and conditioning. What that means is how males are, seen as to this is how you carry yourself. This is, how, things that you do or how you are to be seen, and how females are, modeled to conduct themselves and how they communicate and, that type of thing. So, and here are a couple of examples. So, in the United States, women, tend to shave legs and armpits and wear makeup and wear clothes that highlight certain parts of the body, and have a certain type of posture. So, guys, on the other hand, working out, building muscle, growing facial hair for guys. Not showing emotions or rarely crying, and having a more wider posture. So that's just a few things to name. Just a few things to name a few. And here are some more. I'm not going to go through all of these, but I was going to see some of the ones I want to talk about. So under like women's nonverbal behavior, one of the things it said was take up less territory and bodily space. On the let's see, guy, and it says for men's nonverbal behavior, more likely to have a special space or room that is off limits and will physically take up more space. So let's see, another thing, under men's nonverbal behavior, making sweeping gestures. On the other side, under women's nonverbal behavior, use more head and hand gestures, but they are smaller. So let's see, under women's nonverbal behavior, more accurate in sending and receiving nonverbal messages. Let's see. Oh, for the guys, tend to move more during interaction. Also, tend to use more vocal fillers and pauses. So those are just a few, and you can look up more if you desire to do that. So, ways that you can help with your nonverbal skills. So, some ways of decoding or realizing what it is that you are seeing is to try and see that behavior from the other person's point of view. What would they be trying to say, or how would they feel? And that may help you, give you a leg up in interpreting their nonverbal communication. Also, don't just go by one particular thing. So, oh, the person's voice is loud. Oh, that must mean this or that. No, they're, check out some of the other factors. Oh, yeah. You can learn from people different from you. Not everybody communicates in the same way. Also, check your observations. So try to see, okay, is this right? Is this wrong? Try to have more things that see if you can find more things that support what you're thinking, or if there's more things, or if there's more things that disprove whatever it is that you're thinking. So. And also compare the verbal and the nonverbal. So, yeah. Now, ways of encoding, ways of adjusting what it is that you're sending out to people. So, try to see it, once again, try to see it from another person's perspective, see how they might interpret whatever it is that you're saying. So, yeah, also, be careful about with intimate nonverbal cues, maybe being too close, where you touch someone. That's not something you just rush into. So, and also asking for nonverbal feedback. Asking for feedback about your nonverbal cues or others' interpretations of them. So it may be just as simple as, hey, I'm not coming off as aggressive, am I? It's like, no, I'm not trying to do that. But, because, you're not saying this as some form of aggression, are you? It's like, no, I'm just trying to blah, 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 blah. So, to see if, or I'm not, or saying, okay, yeah, you don't think I'm mad about this, do you? Just trying to check, okay, how are you perceiving this? That, okay, someone may be over accommodating, thinking that something is a really big deal to you, when it's like, no, it really isn't. So, and just trying to, check whatever it is that they are receiving from you, or what they're interpreting from you. Now, with expectation violation theory. So, what this is saying, well, I'll go ahead and read it, then I'll break it down. So it explains how unusual behavior will increase uncertainty, and also be regarded as positive or negative by the person receiving the message. So, and I think the next period will explain that a little bit more, then I'll break it down even more. So, if you perceive a person positively, if you have a good impression, or you like someone, not romantically, but just feel favorably towards this person, then you'll perceive their violation more favorably. So, for example, if you hug, if you hug a lot and someone who is not a hugger, but that person has a positive view of you, then they'll accept that hug more favorably, because they like you, you guys get along, whatever. They think positively of you, then you maybe that space violation will be considered more, it'll be more okay because this person knows you and is comfortable with you and likes you, so it's fine, you know. So yeah, it's just or maybe someone someone you have, you know, admiration for. You encounter them one day and they smell, okay, they smell bad. Now if it's someone that that you don't know or don't have a good opinion of, you would think, oh, that person's just dirty, that's just a dirty person, and oh, how can they just not care about us, and you know, or care about, you know, the people who sit next to me. You may have that type of attitude because, you know, they violated your smell, your olfactics. Anyway, but if it's someone that you do find, you know, favorable, or, you know, then you're like, oh, well, they've been working hard, you know, trying to improve their life, or, you know, whatever. So anyway, a video that I had, and it's probably, you can probably you may be on Blackboard, is there was a comedy skit about, anyway, so you may be able to find that. So anyway, and that is it for our chapter 4 lecture. Yeah, hope you got something, you know, useful from this, and take care.